you want to have quality content that people want to read, content that's comprehensive, that's really well-rounded, that covers, every article that you write should cover that specific keyword in a lot of detail. And you ultimately want to, a good kind of mindset to have when you're creating your content is try to create just the best content in the niche. You won't always be able to do that, but just try to do that. Try to create content that's better than the number one ranked site in your niche for that keyword. And if you kind of set that standard, then you'll be setting yourself up for doing really, really well. That's probably the most important thing, actually, is quality content.
You're listening to The Growth Booth, the show focused on achieving lifestyle freedom through online businesses. Whether you're looking for step-by-step strategies to start building an online business, simple game plans to grow your business, or proven lifestyle freedom frameworks, you are in the right place. Stay tuned and be sure to join the thousands of listeners already in growth mode.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 64 of The Growth Booth, where today I'm joined by a good friend of mine, someone who I've known for almost a couple of decades now online, and his name is Adam Short. And we are talking about the niche website gold rush and why perhaps there's never been a better time to make passive profits from simple niche websites. And Adam was a real pioneer in this industry, and he's built dozens of different, very specific niche websites over the years that have earned him huge amounts of money. And he's also taught what he's learnt to thousands of students from all walks of life all around the world. So I thought that there's no one better that I'd want to get on the show to talk to about this than Adam. So Adam, thank you so much for being here with us today, for taking some time out of your life to share a bit of knowledge with everyone.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Aidan. It's great to be here. Always enjoy when we get a chance to talk. And I love sharing what I've learned over the years about niche marketing, so looking forward to it.
One of the first memories that I have of Adam was when I think I must have been watching one of your webinars a long time ago, and you were living in, I think was a luxury hotel on the Strip in Las Vegas. Is that right? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah.
What was that like, living on the Strip in Las Vegas?
It was a lot of fun. It was fun. It was cool because my mother and sister both lived in Vegas at the time, and my sister, she was a professional dancer. She danced in different shows on the Vegas Strip, and so I got to go to her shows. I got complimentary tickets. I would get to meet all her cute friends. I was younger at the time, so it was paradise for me. I've since moved out of Vegas. I'm married now. I have a daughter, so things have changed. But yeah, no, it was a good time.
Yeah, I can always remember that photo that you shared with me, and there was like a little arrow going to this, I guess, apartment or something up in this skyscraper looking over the Strip. So I always thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
How did you get started with your online marketing business? Because as I mentioned at the beginning, you were one of the people that was a real pioneer getting in, I think, in the early 2000s. What sort of led you to that?
Yeah. Well, when I graduated from college, I ended up getting a job at a search engine company, a really early search engine company called Overture. And Overture was a pioneer in the world of pay-per-click. They were kind of on the cutting edge of, they were developing the search engine pay-per-click model at the time that we now see used, all over the place, where advertisers pay for ads, and every time somebody clicks on those ads. So, I was there during that time, and I thought the internet was cool when I, prior to that, I used it all through high school to, research and write my high school paper assignments and things. But when I got there, I really started realizing the internet is a big thing, and it's something that's going to be a big part of our lives going forward. And I could see all of this money being generated online through this advertising model. So that just really opened my eyes. And I started kind of experimenting with the Overture platform. Back then you could run ads on Overture, like anybody could just run cheap ads and get send traffic to affiliate offers. Basically, you didn't need a website or anything, and you could just rack up affiliate commissions really easily. So that was kind of my introduction to the world of making money online.
Awesome. And was there something that inspired you to go down this path of building niche websites? I mean, were you looking to get a bit of a side income coming in, or did you go into it thinking that this would replace your day job? What was the feeling there?
Well, when I started making money, I was working at Overture, but I was also making money using Overture. So it's kind of interesting. And Overture ended up getting bought out by Yahoo while I was there. And I actually ended up leaving, though, a couple months before that merger, because I was making more money with my Overture ads than I was from my salary at the company. So I was really hooked by that because I was making my own money. I wasn't reliant on a job. So that really ignited kind of the entrepreneurial spirit for me. I wasn't really planning to be an entrepreneur before that. I always thought I would just go down the corporate path and just work in the corporate world. But so that was a big shift for me. But when I left Overture, they started tightening up all the rules. Like, it got much more structured, and the model I was using pretty much, it stopped working within a couple of months of me leaving, actually. So that kind of left me in a weird spot because I didn't really have any other ideas for a business I wanted to start. I didn't really have any skill sets. So that's kind of when my search started. And, it was actually a tough couple of years because I was hooked on the idea of being an entrepreneur, but I didn't really know how to do it. So I was, working part-time here and there at different companies, but trying to spend most of my time figuring out this internet thing. What's the best model to go into now? So I bought a lot of different courses and, gradually going kind of further and further into debt because I would spend money on these courses, spend money on what they were telling me to do, but nothing was really working for me. It wasn't the fault of the courses. It was it just wasn't working for me. And so it took me a while. And then this niche marketing model, it kind of found me because I ended up buying a course from a marketer named Frank Kern. Some people watching, may have heard his name. He's pretty well known. And he had a course called the Underachiever Method that was like a very, very simple early version of this niche marketing model that Aidan, you and I are talking more about today. It's come a long way since, but he had kind of the bare bones ideas in place. And he just taught a really simple way to publish content online, in a specific niche and make money. And I started doing it, and it just worked like immediately for me. It just resonated. I've always enjoyed writing and research. I genuinely liked the idea of publishing content online. I liked that more than selling products because there was the e-commerce model coming up at the time too. But I found online publishing just more fulfilling, and it just started working. And I just did a little experiment. I had this little beta fish, a little Siamese fighting fish on my desk, and I was trying to find a niche to go into, and I was following the steps that Frank Kern was teaching in his course, but I just looked over one day and saw this little beta fish and said, I'm just going to build a site sharing content about how to care for a beta fish, and I did that, and the site just it wasn't a huge money maker, but within a couple of months it was making 5 figures a month. And that was kind of my new beginning. And I realized, okay, this is working for me, and just run with it. I can build lots of sites like these and build up a really nice passive income.
I really love that. And I think there's that moment that most people who go on to see a lot of success online, they have that sort of before and after moment where you realize that you're onto something and you've made $1 or $100 and you realize, I could replicate this 1,000 times over now, every single day kind of a thing. And I know you really went to town on that and ended up building lots of different niche websites. It's interesting as well that you said that, e-commerce was up and coming at the same time as content publishing, because I was starting to, dip my toes in the water back then as well. And I was kind of dragged down 2 rivers at the same time, and I remember building out my niche websites where I was getting affiliate commissions, very, very specific websites, like a website specifically about Cocker Spaniel dog training, as an example. But at the same time, I was also building very specific niche websites about e-commerce. For example, I had one that was selling pregnancy pillows, very, very specific websites. And it was interesting, and it's been interesting to see over the past 20 years, how each of those models has matured. And I think with the niche marketing, many of the same ideas that were really foundational to what you were doing 20 years ago are still foundational to the way that we would approach niche marketing and do approach niche marketing today. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I've been really pleasantly surprised to see, is that the model, like exactly what you just said, the foundation of the model really hasn't changed. There's new techniques and new strategies that have come along that you can use to enhance your results. There's lots of those, but the foundation, the nuts and bolts of getting a website online, getting traffic, and making money really have not changed. So that's amazing, because the internet has evolved so quickly. You would think that it would be completely different today than it would have been back then when I got started, but it's been very consistent. And that's, I love that, because it gives me peace of mind. It gives me confidence that it will continue to be that way for the foreseeable future. So I always share with people when they start getting into this, you can relax. You can have confidence that this is going to keep working. It's been working for a really long time. You can rely on these nuts and bolts strategies, and just implement them with confidence. And if you do it, the results will follow, and you'll have something that will very likely be a really strong income source, well into the future.
Today's show is brought to you by the Blueprint Academy, a coaching service that I've been providing for about 8 years now. If you're interested in getting one-on-one coaching from me and my team of experts, as well as being able to leverage the resources and infrastructure that I've got in my business, then head over to thegrowthbooth.com/academy to get all the details. I'm passionate about helping people build businesses online, and this is where I can help you. So again, head over to that link, thegrowthbooth.com/academy, and find out how we can help you at the Blueprint Academy today.
I think also it's a good moment now to really reiterate what we're talking about here and what the model is. So you gave an example of one of your first websites was about a beta fish, and what you were doing there was creating content. You're publishing it on the web, so you had a niche website, and then I guess initially you start monetizing that through affiliate links. And nowadays that could be an Amazon affiliate link that you earn an affiliate commission on if someone ends up going to buy something, or it could be maybe like AdSense, so you're getting AdSense revenue from Google, or any other kind of affiliate based business. And the way that you get the traffic is by ranking for hundreds or even thousands of keywords related to your topic. So in the beta fish niche, which I know nothing about, I guess people would be searching in Google, how to care for a beta fish. What other things would they search for?
Exactly. Yeah. How to care for a beta fish, how to properly feed a beta fish, right. Even how to breed beta fish.
Your website would rank for these type of keywords, so it would appear at the top of Google. You would get free traffic, organic traffic as we call it, and not just Google but other search engines as well. And that's how you make money, and that's how we've made money, and that's really the crux of the model. So bringing this into 2023, and understanding that a lot of the fundamentals are the same as they've always been, how would you go about identifying a profitable niche nowadays, and what tools or research methods might you use if you were starting from scratch here?
Well, I have found, interestingly, that so it kind of starts with understanding what makes a good niche. If you understand fundamentally what makes a good niche, then you can kind of let niches come to you, because they're all over the place. And the best niches that I have, quote, found have just been more me just kind of living my life kind of with these niche glasses on, this filter on, and spotting niches just based on what I know, makes a good niche. So to give you an example, so first, maybe we can talk about what those fundamental aspects are. So like a niche, just to define it, it's just a specific topic. It's just, it could be anything. It could be how to care for betta fish, how to care for Cocker Spaniels, how to build a shed in your backyard, how to care for chicken coops or chickens, backyard chickens. There's so many. There are hundreds of thousands of niches out there. So, but what makes a good niche, a niche that's going to attract traffic and actually make money, is one where there's a lot of either fear. It sounds kind of bad, but it's true, because fear is a fundamental human motivator, or passion. So kind of either love or fear. You could think of it that way. So kind of a fear-based niche would be like survival. So there's lots of different kind of niches within the overall survival niche, but I had a website that was very successful just teaching about this one kind of, I don't want to say exactly what it was, but it was an environmental toxin that some people are worried about, some people aren't. But the people who are worried about this are very worried about it. So the website was all about just kind of how to protect yourself from this, and it did very well. So that's one example of kind of a fear-based niche. But you can go the completely opposite direction, and on the positive side of that would be something like I had a website on kayaking, and which did really well. And people they kayak for the love of it, for getting out in nature and for all of the positive things that can bring, exercise, etc. So it's not really, there's no fear there, but there's a lot of positivity. And then if you can combine that with an audience that either needs or wants to buy stuff to kind of feed that passion, then those are the best niches. So with kayaking, it's excellent because people need kayaks, they need oars, they need life vests. There's all sorts of gear that you need to pursue that hobby. And then with that website I mentioned with the environmental toxin, there's certain things that you can buy to help protect yourself from that. And so there's a lot of motivation to buy stuff, and that's good because that's how these websites earn income. Is they earn income through people clicking ads on the site, pay-per-click ads to go buy stuff, or through affiliate commissions. So clicking your affiliate links of products that you're recommending on the site.
Right. So
that's just a quick summary of kind of what makes a good niche.
Yeah, I think that's a really good starting point. And the love, fear, I've often spoken about passion and pain, which is the same kind of a thing. Some of the best niches that I've had have been about helping people with solutions to things that could otherwise become painful in their lives, health conditions and so on and so forth. And then on the passion side, I've done very well in the Halloween niche, believe it or not. That's something that people get passionate about, and that's one that's actually got a sense of urgency as well. So when people are coming up to Halloween, they need Halloween costumes and lots of other decorative items and so forth, and that's a passion niche. So are there any special tools or research methods that you use? Obviously, you've spoken about drawing on things in your own personal life, experience you may have, but are there tools out there that people might start looking at to identify a niche?
Yeah, my favorite tool is Amazon, because Amazon is kind of like the ultimate collection of anything and everything that people are interested in. They've got their physical product side where you can buy products, anything that you need, and then they've got their information side, which is their bookstore where they're selling information. So you can kind of look at both. Amazon gives information too that can show you how well products are doing, how well they're selling in the Amazon marketplace, at least compared to other products. So you can go into a category, like if you want to be proactive, you could go to like the Amazon books section And you can first look at you can look in Amazon and see what categories are more popular than others. And then you can dig deeper and you can see what topics within those categories are more popular than others. And that's kind of the general way to narrow down to a niche. One of the keys is not to go too broad with these niches, but also not to go too specific. You kind of want to go somewhere in between. And that kind of ties back to competition. If you go too broad, when you go to try to get your website ranked in the search engines, you're going to be playing with a larger pool of competitors. If you go too specific, you might not get enough traffic because there's not enough keywords to rank for. But if you go kind of right in the middle, that's kind of the perfect spot where there's not too much competition, but there's still plenty of traffic. And there's methods for measuring that and really honing in on that perfect size niche.
Yeah, that's great. And I think Amazon, in addition to being a good research tool, or part of the research is obviously validating that there's commercial intent there. So if you can see that there are a lot of products that are selling well on Amazon, and they're selling at a price which would allow you to actually make some good commissions, then that's really positive. If all of the products in your niche are dirt cheap, then it probably means that there's less money to be made, even if there is huge amounts of traffic. Now, in terms of the key elements that contribute to success of one of these types of websites in this business model, what would you sort of pull out as maybe 2 or 3 of the most important things? Obviously, you need a website. You need rankings. Anything come to mind there?
Yeah, I would say there's 4, and I'll just talk about all 4 here, and they obviously all tie together. But like you just mentioned, it starts with building your site on the right platform, on a platform that's going to be solid. It's like so the platform I use is WordPress, and WordPress is just built. It's built for online publishing. Google really likes WordPress. WordPress takes care automatically of a lot of the technical stuff behind the scenes with your site. There's other platforms too, but WordPress is free and it works perfectly. And you want to combine that with a quality theme. And the theme kind of gives the site the look and feel and some of the surface level or the functionality that your audience is actually going to see. So I think the theme is called Cadena. That's kind of my favorite theme right now. It might be called something else. Starts with a K. I think it's Cadena. But if you have a good, strong platform like WordPress combined with a nice theme, you're going to have the proper foundation in place. Your website's going to look really good. And that's important because the way that people interact with your site, Google's actually tracking that. And Google can see like how long people are staying on your site. Are they clicking around or are they leaving quickly? And those factors kind of tie back to the reasons you need a clean website that's built properly. So that's number one. The second thing is you need to be targeting the right keywords. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but you don't, like if you're going to go into, say, how to care for Cocker Spaniels or how to train Cocker Spaniels, you don't want to just try to think about, okay, what do I think my audience wants to know about? You want to actually do keyword research, and there are tools for finding keywords that are optimal to target with your content. So SEMrush is probably my favorite. There's another one called Ahrefs, which is really good. Those are premium keyword tools that will tell you if your keyword is one that you want to be targeting. And you want to look for keywords that aren't too competitive, but also get a lot of traffic. So low competition, meaning they're easy to rank for, but they also get a lot of searches. And you want to pull those out and target those specific keywords with your content. And what I mean by target is when you go to write your content, you actually want to embed those keywords in the content at a specific, keyword density. And so keywords is number 2. Number 3 is content. You want to have quality content that people want to read, content that's comprehensive, that's really well-rounded, that covers, every article that you write should cover that specific keyword in a lot of detail. And you ultimately want to, a good kind of mindset to have when you're creating your content is try to create just the best content in the niche. You won't always be able to do that, but just try to do that. Try to create content that's better than the number one ranked site in your niche for that keyword. And if you kind of set that standard, then you'll be setting yourself up for doing really, really well. That's probably the most important thing, actually, is quality content. And then the final factor would be backlinks. So that's basically other websites linking to you. And that's kind of the rocket fuel that's going to get your site to really take off and start ranking really, really well. So those four things.
That's awesome. I mean, this is just a real treasure trove of information here. And if you're listening to this episode today, this is a topic that I'm going to be delving into a lot deeper and a lot more in the weeks ahead. So we're going to be able to dive down more into some of the different things that Adam is sharing here. I do want to ask you a few more questions, Adam, just about challenges, setbacks that you've had, not necessarily just specifically to this model that we're talking about here today, but in online business in general. And if there is anything that you think is a really common mistake that people tend to make when they're starting online businesses, then I'd love to hear about that as well. And I'll give you an example of mine. So it took me about 2 or 3 years to start building an email list. And I had these websites that were getting all this traffic. And it was just such a huge lost opportunity for me. So if I was recommending someone to get started with a niche website, now in this day and age, I would say absolutely from the get-go, build your audience, because otherwise you're going to be leaving money on the table and it's a massive lost opportunity. So any challenges, setbacks, or common mistakes that you can share with the audience here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good one. I guess because yes, the challenges kind of change over time the longer you're involved in having your own online business. I guess in the beginning, I would say shifting gears too early, not sticking with any one model long enough. I didn't have as much patience as I should have, and if something didn't work really quickly for me, I just bounced to something else. And whereas I think if I'd spent more time and had a little more patience and just taken the time to learn the nuances of the model, then I might have had more success earlier. Because it took me 3 or 4 years actually and I went from like making nothing after Overture to suddenly making really, really solid money really quickly. But that was kind of painful how long it took. And then I would say nowadays, maybe a lesson I can share that I've learned is there's kind of this mindset I think people can fall into, that the grass is always greener, that what you're doing right now, even if it's working well, you want to try to find something even better. And I've learned that's kind of that can be a negative mindset to fall into. The more I've kind of gone on, because I've been implementing this model for 15 years now. And there have been times when I've been like, well, I'm kind of bored of this. I want to do something else. And but I always have been reminded in different ways that this is an amazing model. It's so solid. It's so consistent. The income is super passive. I've struggled whenever I've kind of gone off the path and searched for other things. I always come back to it and realize like this is a real gem of a system. And so it's just, I valued it more and more over time for what it can provide.
There's a lot of buzz around right now around AI, artificial intelligence, using the likes of ChatGPT. It's a hot topic for a lot of people. How do you think that is going to impact what we're doing with these niche websites? Is this something that you've put much thought into?
Yes, definitely. I'm glad you brought that up. I think ChatGPT is a game changer for this model in a really positive way. It doesn't change the fundamentals of the model, but it's a tool that we can use that makes content creation so much easier. I mean, I almost get like goosebumps when I think about what's possible with ChatGPT because, in the beginning, for many years, I mean, I was writing each article myself, sitting down at the computer and researching and writing, and I enjoyed it, but then I kind of over time stopped enjoying it. It just turned into work, and some people enjoy writing, some people don't enjoy it at all. So it's just work, and it's a grind. And then I got to the point where I was, the model was producing really well for me financially, so I was able to outsource all the writing to other people, and obviously that was a huge thing. But this ChatGPT is changing the game because there's still a place for outsourcing content. But ChatGPT is close to where you can just have it create the content for you, basically, in a matter of seconds. I don't know how deep we want to go into that.
I think it could be a topic for an entire podcast episode and more. But I like the fact that you're positive about it, because I'm really positive about it as well. And I think with these types of things, what we've always seen is that if you're able to provide good content and provide value to people, then over time, if you're patient, you can kind of rise to the top and do well. I mean, you always tend to get rewarded when you are providing value. And if going back to what you said earlier about choosing a niche based on either passion or pain/fear, there's lots of ways that we can provide value there, and there's lots of ways that we can use ChatGPT and other AI technology as a tool to aid in that. So as long as we're using it, I guess you could say, for good and not for evil, then I think we're going to be on the right side of the equation there, and we're going to be able to profit tremendously, and it's going to work as rocket fuel for some of these businesses, businesses that are reliant on content, and not just spitting out content. That's handy, but also developing frameworks for content and ideas for content, and there are a gazillion different ways that you can do that. So that's definitely a topic for another episode here. I wanted to sum up on some of your nuggets of wisdom here that you've sort of shared with us here today. So passion and pain, I think this is a good one. Passion and fear is a great way to think about niches. An old-fashioned way that I've found a lot of good niches over the years is browsing the magazine stand, and that can be if I'm going through an airport, or if I'm doing it virtually through a website like Amazon. If there's a magazine about it, then there's got to be a passionate niche there, or it must be an important topic in some regard. The foundations haven't changed. I think that's really, really exciting and important if you're thinking about diving into niche sites nowadays. Amazon as a tool, a validation tool, and also a research tool. It's free, and everyone knows how to use Amazon. You can go in there and just start searching, and you can navigate through different menu items, and you can see prices of products, how many reviews products have got, how products are selling comparatively to other products in a niche and other niches. You mentioned about not going too broad and also not going too narrow, so finding that happy middle ground. And then in terms of the sort of success ingredients of these websites, we spoke about you need a good platform and a good theme, and how WordPress is a great solution there, about targeting the right keywords and not just choosing them haphazardly, but going after them with intent. That's how you end up getting the right kind of traffic that actually makes you money. And then aiming to be number one with the content that you create. And that doesn't mean that you're creating thousands of the very best types of content. I mean, you might double down on 10 really good pieces of content on your website, and that's enough to make you 4 or 5 figures a month from a small, lightweight niche website. And then finally, backlinks. And we spoke about how these really are the rocket fuel that will accelerate results there. So this has been fantastic, Adam. I've been a big fan of everything you've done over the years. You've helped thousands of students, and I really look forward to hearing about the next journeys that you are going to be going on in the decades ahead, because I'm sure you're going to be doing interesting things, and I'd love to be able to follow along there and have you back on in the future to talk about new projects and pick your brain more about niche marketing. So thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Really enjoyed it. I'm happy to come back anytime and talk more with your audience. So that sounds great.
Awesome. Okay, guys, well, this is a wrap. This is episode number 64 of The Growth Booth. As always, you can find us on YouTube. Just go and search for The Growth Booth, or you can go to thegrowthbooth.com, navigate to the podcasts section, and come down to episode number 64 to get the transcripts, to watch the video, to get important links to other bits and pieces, and so much more. And as I've said a couple of times on this show here today, we are going to be diving deep into niche marketing a lot more over the months ahead, because I see it as a huge opportunity, especially with the advancements of the AI technology that we are all just so excited about. So stay tuned to hear more about how you can leverage and build your own money-making autopilot niche website and participate in what I think is the niche website gold rush. Thanks very much for listening here today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The Growth Booth.